Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So students, in the previous class in this chapter, that is management of natural resources, we were talking about that of water and water for all. What is the problem that we are facing these days regarding the scarcity of water and how we are using water. And in that context, we have already studied about dam, and we have understood that how dam is formed and how there is a problem that occur in the formation of the dam. That will include the social problem, environmental problem, and that of economic problem. Not only this, we have understood that how our river water like Ganga is being polluted, how the dumping of untreated sewage and industrial waste will degrade the quality of the river Ganga. Now let us see what is water harvesting. See, the people in rural areas, they have used a large number of a water collecting method to capture rainwater as much as possible which had fallen on their land. There are different methods by which they can harvest water. See, what is water harvesting is collecting water. Here it is written that watershed management emphasizes scientific soil and water conservation in order to increase the biomass production. And the aim is to develop primary resource of land and water and to produce secondary resource of plant and animal for use in a manner which will not cause ecological imbalance. So what is the aim of a water harvesting? Its aim is to develop primary resources and also to produce the secondary resources of plant and animal for use in manner which is not in a cause of a ecological imbalance. So basically its role is to provide the primary resource to land, to water, as well as secondary resources also to plant and animal for their use in future also. Watershed management not only increases the production and income of the watershed community but also mitigates drought, flood, and increases the life of downstream dam and reserve. Various organizations have been working on rejuvenating ancient system of water harvesting as an alternative to the mega project like dam. See, water harvesting is really important, and our rural India, they have used a large number of methods, and these days a lot of organization they are start working on the ancient system of the water harvesting, due to which they will be able to rejuvenate the reservoirs. Okay, the communities have used hundreds of indigenous water saving methods to capture every trickle of water that have fallen on the land. Dug small pit and lake, put in a place simple watershed built small earthen dam, constructed dikes, sand, set up roof water collecting unit. This is all to see here what it said that they have used a different kind of a methods in which they can preserve the water, and this can be what they have used the earlier method as well as the method that we use in the urban areas or in the cities. So they have dig a pit so that what collect the water. They have made a lot of reservoirs, limestone reservoirs by which they can collect the water, and they put the earthen dams in order to. The other earthen dams is actually a traditional rainwater harvesting in Rajasthan for agriculture, which is also called as khadin. So not only this, even today is also how the rainwater harvesting occur, roadside rainwater harvesting. These all is done in order to collect water. So water harvesting is what? It is an old age concept in India. See, here it is given: khadins, tanks and nadis in Rajasthan, bandars and bandras and tal in Maharashtra, then bundis in Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, ahar and pines in Bihar, kul in Himachal Pradesh, ponds in Kandi belt of Jammu region, tanks in Tamil Nadu, surangams in Kerala, kattas in Karnataka. These are what? These all are some of the method. Actually, the different names has been given. These all are the different methods, different ways by which we can conserve the water. Okay, these are some of the ancient method by which we can conserve the water. So this is said that these all are the ancient water harvesting, including the water conveyance structure. So we are able to not only the conservation, but it is structure, its composition, and this we use it today also. Now see, water harvesting technique are highly local specific, and the benefit are also localized, giving people control over their local water resources, ensure the mismanagement and over exploitation of these resources is reduced or removed. See, this help in minimizing the mismanagement, the exploitation of the water, and this technique is what? It is having a lot of benefits also. The water harvesting is what? This is the method by which we can preserve the water. This is students' khadin system in Rajasthan. So khadin or cropped area, this is what? This is the khadin. Actually what happened, the people, they used to make a shallow wherever the agriculture is there, if there is any deep or a shallow place is there near that of the their field, they used to convert it into khadin. And not only this, this is khadin band. Sometimes when the khadin get filled with that of the water, then they used to make a hole here also, in order that the water will reach to this shallow dug well. Okay, so if excess amount of water will be there, that can easily pass through that of this shallow dug well, and it is good because it will be the water which is stored here. It can be used for agriculture purpose, as well as this water will help in enhancing the water level, the underground water level. Okay, due to seepage. Now see here, in largely level terrain, the water harvesting structure are mainly crescent-shaped earthen embankment or low straight concrete and rubble check dams built across seasonally flooded gullies. So these largely the water harvesting structure, which is basically made in order to conserve water, in order to hold water. Uh, this will help in checking dams which is built across seasonally flooded gullies. Monsoon rains fills pond behind the structure, and only the largest structure hold the water year around. Most dry up 6 months or less after the monsoon. The main purpose, however, is not to hold surface water but to recharge groundwater beneath. And the advantage of water stored in the ground are many. It does not evaporate but is spread out, recharge well, provide moisture for vegetation over a wide area. In addition, it does not provide breeding ground for mosquito like stagnant water collected in pond or artificial lake. The groundwater is also relatively protected from contamination by human or animal waste. See, what is the main purpose to not to hold the surface water but to recharge the groundwater? See, why are we collecting all these? Actually, the rainwater harvesting or the water harvesting, it is basically done in order to recharge the groundwater level. And what is the reason that why we are not holding the surface water but we are thinking about we are recharging the groundwater beneath? So the advantage of water stored in a ground, it is many. First of all, it does not evaporate. If you see in a surface water, when it is exposed to the sun, it just starts evaporating, right? So the advantage of the groundwater that it does not evaporate easily. Then it spreads out to recharge well and provide moisture for vegetation over a wide area. If it will be there, it will help in providing humus to that of the soil. So it help in providing that of the humus. And second thing, which is very important, that it recharge the wells, underground wells, and because it help in increasing the water level. So that will be used uh, for the moisture. And you know that if our wells will be our wells will be recharged, so it will be easy for us to do the vegetation over a wide area. It does not provide breeding ground for mosquito like stagnant water collected in pond or, yes, if the water will be collected on the surface of the on the surface, then it will be a cause for the breeding of mosquitoes, and that will cause a serious disease to us. But if it will be a groundwater, then there will be no such problem faced by the people. The groundwater is also relatively protected from contamination by human and animal waste. Yes, if it will be in the surface water, there will be more chances of contamination. But if it is the groundwater, then there will be no such chances of contamination. Okay, so all these points are what these includes that how the groundwater is much better than that of the surface water, and why we must uh, harvest water in order to recharge the groundwater. Now let us see about coal and petroleum. Coal and petroleum are what, student? These are called as a fossil fuels. These are the natural resources which are the important source of energy for us. It is the fuel in our home, in our industries, that will help in generating the electricity at the thermal power plant. So see here, it is written that we have seen some of the issues involved in the conservation and sustainable use of resources like forest, wildlife and water. These can meet our needs if we were to use it sustainable manner. So basically the coal and petroleum is what? It is a source of energy, that is the natural resources, and it is how it is used as a source of energy. It is used in home, it is used in industries, and basically it is used there in order to generate electricity at thermal power plant. This coal and petroleum, you know that student, petroleum product are there, like petrol is there, diesel is there, which is used as a fuel to run scooter, bike, train, ship, even aeroplane also. Kerosene and LPG that we obtain from petroleum, that is used for domestic fuel for cooking. And the industrial revolution which we have used, which have been using, it's what it is increasing the amount of energy to meet our basic needs. Even not only this, it is also used for the manufacture of goods on which our life depends. So all these energy, these are important, uh, and that we get from the coal and petroleum. Now let us see, since the industrial revolution we have been using increasing amount of energy to meet our basic need and for the manufacture of large number of goods upon which our life depend, and the energy need have been largely met by the reserves of coal and petroleum. See, the energy that we get from the coal and petroleum, that is used in a different purpose in developing the large number of goods on which our life totally depends on. And coal and petroleum, you know that the formation of the coal, see, management of the coal and petroleum is really important, and the reason is that they take a lot of a time for their formation. That is why it is written here that coal and petroleum were formed from the degradation of a biomass million of years ago, and hence these resources that will be exhausted in future, no matter how carefully we use them. And then we need to look for the alternative source of energy. See, the management is really very much important, although we are knowing that the coal and petroleum will what? It will get exhaust one day. And the reason is, see, it takes a lot of a time for their formation. It get degraded of biomass. What is this? How the coal and petroleum formed? Due to the degradation of biomass. What is the meaning of a degradation of biomass? It means when the plants, the dead plant or the animal, they get buried under the rock, under the soil, and they get continuously, because of high pressure and temperature, in the absence of oxygen, in million years of ago they get converted into a fuel that will be used for different purpose. So we can say here that the formation of the fossil fuels, it takes a long time, it needs a lot of a time to be formed, and now what happened, these days we are using it for making different products. These days we are using it as a fuel for different purpose. So its use consumption is much more than the formation, and obviously that will be what that says that it will get exhausted in future. And it is because of that it is really important that we must look after the alternative source of energy for that. Now see here, there are various estimates as how long these resources will be last as exist as one of the at present rate of usage. Our known petroleum resource will last us for about 40 years, and the coal will last for another 200 years. See here, it is already given that a lot of estimates are there, student, that how much time we can use the coal and the petroleum. And for petroleum, it is said we can use it for 40 years, and the and the coal we can use for 200 years. But looking to the other source of energy, it is not only consideration when we look at the consumption of coal and petroleum. Since coal and petroleum have been formed from biomass, in addition to carbon, these contain hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur. Okay, so basically they are made up of carbon. Most of the part is of carbon, but they also consisting of hydrogen, they also consisting of nitrogen, as well as that of sulfur. And when these burnt, products like carbon dioxide, water, oxide of nitrogen and oxide of sulfur, it is produced. And when the combustion it takes place in inefficient or air or oxygen, then carbon monoxide is formed instead of carbon dioxide. In all of this, the oxide of the sulfur and nitrogen and carbon monoxide are poisonous at higher concentration. Carbon dioxide, it is also called as a greenhouse gas. You know that when we burn these fuels are actually made up of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen and sulfur. So when we burn it, what happen? This will become release of carbon dioxide occur. Not only this, there will be the release of oxide of sulfur or oxide of nitrogen. And these all are what? These all are not good for our environment. Actually, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, that will cause the acid rain in the environment. Carbon dioxide is called as a greenhouse gas. Yes, it helps in maintaining the temperature. It helps in increasing the temperature of the environment. That's why it is called as a greenhouse gas. And that if its concentration increases, students, then this greenhouse gas will also be result into the global warming. So it is because of that it is important that we must be very careful while burning these fuels. Another way of looking at the coal and petroleum, that they are huge reserves of carbon, and if all the carbon is converted to carbon dioxide, then the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is going to increase, leading to intense global warming. Just now I had explained about that, that if it is not burnt properly, coal or petroleum, then it will releases a carbon monoxide, which is highly poisonous gas. But if it is used, the carbon content present in it is used completely, then it will cause the then it will releases the carbon dioxide. Now this carbon dioxide will also responsible for intense heating of the earth, and that will result into the global warming. So we can say here that the global warming is caused because of carbon dioxide. So we must use it properly so that it do not affect our environment. Now some simple choices that make a difference in our energy consumption. Thinking over that of the relative advantages, disadvantage and environment friendliness of the following. What are the things that we can take in order to make a difference in our energy consumption pattern? So first one, taking a bus, using a personal vehicle or walking. What you will prefer? Obviously, taking a bus is much better, or even the much better is walking or cycling. See, if you are traveling for a small distance, you do not have to use any bus or your bike. Instead of that, you can walk or you can cycle. For that, you can go with cycle. So cycle is what? It do not need fuel, as well as walking also, that is good. Even you see, if you are walking, if you are cycling, you are actually giving you are actually exercising. Okay, you are doing exercise, and that is good for your health also. If you are going for a long distance, instead of using your personal car or personal vehicles, we can use bus, we can use the public transport. That will also help in reducing the natural resources, prevent the reduction of the natural resources. Then using bulb or fluorescent tubes in your home. Using bulb or fluorescent tubes in your home. Fluorescent tubes are what? That will consume a less amount of electricity. So it will be much better to use fluorescent bulb rather than using a bulb. Then using the lift or taking the stairs. Yes, in both of them we will prefer to take a stair. Wearing an extra sweater or using a heating device, heater or cigarette in cold days. Yes, wearing a extra, which will be much better, as it help in conserving the electricity. So it is really important for them. It is really important to manage the coal and petroleum by doing some small changes in our day to day life. So fuel, it is really important for the transportation, not only for the transportation, but fuel is used at a different ways. Now an overview of our natural resources. See, sustainable management of natural resources is a difficult task, and in addressing this issue we need to keep an open mind with regard to interest of the various stakeholder. We need to accept that the people will act with their own best interest as the priority, but the realization that selfish goal will lead to misery for a large number of people and a total destruction of our environment is slowly growing. Going beyond laws, rules, and regulation, we need to tailor our requirement individually and collectively so that the benefit of development reach everyone now and for all generation to come. We must use our natural resources wisely, students, without giving benefit to any one community. We must think about our future generation, that how we can use the resources wisely so that we can also take the advantages as well as our future generation. Okay.